They might not openly confront you, but they will make you feel the impact of your actions in a way that's difficult to ignore. Their revenge often comes in the form of emotional withdrawal, silence, or calculated distance. Cancer knows how to hit where it hurts the most. While they may not seek revenge in a physical or aggressive manner, they can be incredibly effective in making you feel guilty and disconnected. Their emotional power is their greatest tool, and once you betrayed them, you might find yourself on the receiving end of their cold shoulder or passive-aggressive behavior. Don't underestimate how Cancer will exact their own form of justice. It may not be immediate, but you'll feel the effects long after the betrayal. 10. They value emotional connection above all. Cancer is a deeply emotional sign, and they value emotional connection more than almost anything else. For them, relationships are about genuine bonds, whether with family, friends, or romantic partners. They invest their time, energy, and love into forming deep, meaningful connections with others. Betrayal is not just a break in trust, it's a rupture in the emotional connection that Cancer has worked so hard to nurture. Once this bond is broken, Cancer feels that emotional void deeply. They are not interested in superficial relationships or fleeting connections, they seek depth and authenticity. Betraying them destroys the foundation of the relationship, and they won't easily recover from it. Cancer might forgive, but they will never forget how you shattered the emotional connection they cherished. Once they no longer feel emotionally connected to you, the relationship will be forever changed, and they may not be willing to invest in it again. 11. Their need for nurturing and care. Cancer is ruled by the moon, which gives them a natural nurturing ability. They thrive when they can care for others, offering support, comfort, and love. However, this nurturing nature comes with an expectation of being cared for in return. When you betray a Cancer, you are not just violating their trust, you are rejecting their need for emotional care and support. Cancer gives a lot of themselves to the people they love, and when that care is not reciprocated or is taken for granted, it can create deep emotional wounds. Betraying a Cancer means rejecting the very essence of what they offer in relationships: nurturing, care, and love. They may retreat emotionally, not because they no longer care, but because they are hurt by the lack of reciprocation. If you do not care for them in return, they will no longer feel the need to invest in you, and they will protect themselves by withdrawing from the relationship entirely. 12. They can be passive-aggressive. 2 minutes. Cancer is typically not the type to be openly confrontational, but when deeply hurt, they may resort to passive-aggressive behavior. Their emotional sensitivity and protective nature mean that, instead of voicing their pain directly, they may express their hurt in more subtle ways. This could come in the form of coldness, sarcasm, or indirect comments. Cancer may withdraw emotionally, giving you the silent treatment or subtly hinting at their displeasure without directly addressing it. This passive-aggressive response allows Cancer to protect themselves while still communicating their hurt. However, it can also create a tense and uncomfortable atmosphere. It's not a direct attack, but it's unmistakable. Betrayal from a Cancer often leads to these indirect emotional cues. When this happens, you will sense that something is off, but Cancer may not always come out and explain why they're hurt. You will feel the emotional distance growing, and only then will you realize the cost of betraying them. 13. They will not tolerate disrespect. Respect is one of the cornerstones of Cancer's emotional world. They invest deeply in relationships, and for them, respect is a fundamental part of how they connect with others. When you betray Cancer, you not only damage their trust, you also disrespect them. This disrespect is something they cannot tolerate. If a Cancer feels disrespected, whether through betrayal or any form of dishonesty, they will make sure to protect themselves. They might remove themselves from the situation or end the relationship entirely. Cancer knows their worth and will not waste time on people who do not appreciate them. Once disrespected, they'll be quick to cut ties and move forward. They will not give you another chance to hurt them, and they will make it clear that disrespect will not be tolerated. 14. They can be extremely emotional in their reactions. Cancer is one of the most emotionally expressive signs of the zodiac. When they feel betrayed, their emotions can overwhelm them, leading to intense reactions. Cancer's deep feelings mean that betrayal cuts deeply, and their response is likely to be more emotional than logical. They might cry, become defensive, or even lash out in pain when they're hurt. These emotional reactions may seem overwhelming to those around them, but it's simply their way of processing the betrayal. When Cancer is hurt, they don't hold back, they let their feelings show. While some might view this as overreacting, it's just Cancer's way of dealing with the overwhelming emotions that betrayal brings. Once they've processed their hurt, they may retreat to heal, but don't expect them to forget the emotional impact. Betraying Cancer means dealing with a storm of emotions, and these reactions will be felt long after the confrontation. In conclusion, betraying a Cancer is a deeply hurtful act, and the consequences are not easily forgotten. From their fierce loyalty to their emotional sensitivity and strong intuition, Cancer is a sign that takes betrayal personally. When you cross them, you risk breaking a bond that is built on trust, care, and deep emotional connection. Cancer will not forgive easily, and once their trust is broken, they will protect themselves by distancing themselves emotionally, cutting ties, and moving on from toxic relationships. They may react in passive-aggressive ways, or they might become openly emotional, but whatever their response, it's clear that they will not tolerate betrayal. If you want to maintain a relationship with a Cancer, respect, loyalty, and care are key, because once they've been betrayed, they'll make sure you feel the emotional consequences for a long time. 14 Reasons Never to Betray Cancer. Cancer, known as one of the most emotionally intuitive and deeply caring signs of the zodiac. They are loyal, protective, and nurturing, and they often put the needs of their loved ones above their own. But here's the truth you need to understand: betraying a Cancer is one of the biggest mistakes you could make. While they may appear calm and composed on the outside, when trust is broken, their reactions can be intense and long-lasting. In this video, we'll explore 14 reasons why betraying a Cancer is something you'll deeply regret. Cancer's loyalty, emotional sensitivity, and protective instincts are not to be taken lightly. Once you cross them, there's no going back. Let's dive into why you should never, ever betray a Cancer and the powerful consequences that come with it. 1. They are incredibly loyal. Loyalty is one of Cancer's most defining traits. When they commit to someone, they do so wholeheartedly, whether it's a friend, family member, or partner. Cancers will stand by you through thick and thin, offering unwavering support and love. Their loyalty is not something that can be easily shaken, and they expect the same in return. If you betray their trust, you're not just breaking a bond, you're destroying a relationship built on deep loyalty. Cancers do not take lightly to disloyalty, and once trust is broken, it's incredibly difficult for them to rebuild it. Their loyalty is a rare gift, and once it's gone for good. If you take advantage of Cancer's loyalty, you'll soon find that they will withdraw completely, leaving you with no chance to regain their trust. 2. They protect their loved ones fiercely. Cancer's protective instincts run deep. They care about their loved ones so much that they are willing to do anything to defend them. If you hurt someone Cancer loves, you will quickly learn how fiercely they will fight to protect those they care about. Whether it's their family, friends, or significant other, Cancer is always there to provide emotional shelter and defense. Betraying a Cancer not only hurts them, it hurts everyone they've committed themselves to, and they won't stand for it. Their protective nature means they will rise up to defend their loved ones with everything they have. And once they feel that betrayal, they will shut you out, not just from their lives, but from the lives of those they love. When you betray a Cancer, you're not only facing their wrath, you're facing the protection they offer to those close to them, and that's something you can't easily undo. 3. Their emotional sensitivity. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and as such, they are deeply connected to their emotions. Their sensitivity is one of their greatest strengths and one of their most significant vulnerabilities. They feel things deeply, every joy, every sorrow, and especially betrayal. When they are hurt, their emotions can overwhelm them, and betrayal cuts deeper than almost anything else. Unlike other signs who may push their emotions aside, Cancer wears their heart on their sleeve. When you betray a Cancer, you're not just breaking their trust, you're wounding their emotional core. They might seem like they're okay, but deep down, the pain stays with them for a long time. This emotional sensitivity makes them incredibly empathetic, but also means that when hurt, they retreat into themselves to heal. Betraying a Cancer means you're inflicting emotional wounds that they may never fully forget, and once you've hurt them, it's hard to regain their emotional trust. 4. Their need for security. One of the most important aspects of Cancer's personality is their deep need for emotional security. They crave stable, nurturing environments where they feel safe and supported. For a Cancer, feeling secure in their relationships is absolutely essential for their emotional well-being. When you betray them, you're not only breaking their trust, you're destroying the foundation of security they've carefully built around themselves. Cancer is incredibly sensitive to any disruption in their safe space. Once their sense of security is threatened, they will retreat emotionally, and it becomes incredibly difficult for them to feel safe again in the same relationship. They won't tolerate instability, especially when it comes to people they love. Betrayal shakes Cancer to their core, leaving them uncertain about the future of the relationship. They may not forgive easily because betrayal creates a sense of insecurity that's hard to repair. If you break that trust, don't expect them to just move on, they will need time, and they might never feel fully secure with you again. 5. They don't forgive easily. Cancer's emotional depth means they take betrayal deeply to heart. They are known for their nurturing and forgiving nature, but once you cross them, forgiveness doesn't come easily. While they may give you a chance to explain, Cancer's heart is delicate, and the wound caused by betrayal is difficult to heal. Even if they do forgive you, the scars of the betrayal often remain. Because of their need for emotional security, Cancer doesn't forget betrayal. They may appear calm or willing to reconcile, but the damage has been done, and trust is a fragile thing for them. It's not about holding grudges, it's about a deep emotional hurt that requires time to process. When Cancer is hurt, their ability to forgive is affected by how deep the betrayal was. If you break their trust, expect the healing process to take longer than you might anticipate. It's not a matter of simply saying sorry, it's about showing you are truly sorry and proving that the trust can be rebuilt. 6. They will retreat into their shell. When Cancer feels betrayed, they won't immediately lash out or confront you in a dramatic way. Instead, they will retreat into their shell, using their protective nature to shield themselves from further emotional pain. Their shell is a defense mechanism, a place where they go to heal and regain their emotional balance after being hurt. When they retreat, it can feel like they've disappeared emotionally, and you may find it difficult to get through to them. This emotional withdrawal is a sign that Cancer needs time to process the betrayal and decide whether they want to continue the relationship. Betrayal makes Cancer question the trust they once had, and retreating into their shell is their way of protecting themselves from further hurt. If you betray Cancer, don't expect them to remain open and communicative right away. They will take their time to reflect, and you may have to give them space to decide if they can trust you again. 7. Their strong intuition. Cancer's intuition is incredibly strong and often serves as a guiding force in their relationships and daily life. They have an innate ability to sense when something isn't right, even when there is no tangible evidence. Their gut feelings are almost always spot on, and this makes it extremely difficult to deceive or betray them without being noticed. When you betray a Cancer, they will almost always sense it before you even confess. Their intuition picks up on subtle cues, body language, inconsistencies in your words, and shifts in energy, allowing them to detect dishonesty. Betraying a Cancer is not something that can be hidden for long. Their strong intuition lets them know when they're being wronged, and they will confront the situation based on their gut feelings. If you think you can hide your betrayal, you're mistaken. Cancer's intuitive nature ensures that the truth will come to light, and you will have a much harder time denying it. 8. They will cut you off. When a Cancer feels betrayed, their first instinct is often to protect themselves and their emotional well-being. One of the quickest ways they do this is by cutting off the person who has hurt them. Cancers are not afraid to create distance when they feel their trust has been violated. This isn't about holding a grudge, it's about self-preservation. They understand that keeping someone in their life who has betrayed them can create ongoing emotional harm. Once Cancer decides to cut ties, it can be permanent. They won't waste time on toxic relationships or people who have shown disloyalty. Cutting you off is Cancer's way of re-establishing control over their emotional world, ensuring they are surrounded by people they can trust. If you've betrayed a Cancer, don't expect them to keep you in their life after the damage has been done. They will emotionally distance themselves and, in many cases, remove you entirely from their inner circle. 9. They will seek revenge in their own way. Cancer may not be the most outwardly confrontational sign, but when they feel deeply hurt, they won't let betrayal go unpunished. The revenge Cancer seeks isn't usually loud or dramatic, it's subtle, calculated, and deeply emotional.